Hey there, I'm Julie, and this is the Married to Addiction podcast. If you're here, then you're probably what I call my secret sister. We're in a situation we never asked to be in and fighting a battle we never wanted to fight. We're faith-filled women who are married to an alcoholic, and it affects every inch of our lives. If that sounds like you, then this is a safe place for you to land. Married to Addiction is a faith-based podcast where I help you find the tools and strength you need to navigate your husband's addiction without losing yourself in the process. So please subscribe and tune in as often as you can, because your husband's recovery is important, but so is yours. Hey, I wanted to let you know real quickly that I have a new workshop available. It is called Together in Transition, and it is for wives who are supporting new recovery. When my husband came home from the treatment center, I was not prepared for what happened next. I had no idea that the period after that was going to hold a whole new set of challenges. So in this workshop, I wanted to share with you all of the things that I wish I knew back then. There are things that would have helped make it easier for me, would have made it easier for my husband, and even for our kids. So if your husband is new in recovery, whether for the first time or again after multiple attempts, then this workshop is for you. Although I do believe that pretty much any wife of alcoholics should have this workshop on hand, because in my experience, sometimes alcoholics are ready for treatment suddenly and unexpectedly. So I think it's really important that we are ready too if that happens. This workshop also includes a workbook to help you take practical action based on what you'll learn in the workshop. And there are also some additional resources there to help support you and your children as you navigate through this transition with your husband in recovery. I would love for you to check it out. You can find it on my website, marriedtoaddiction.com. Just click on the Everything Start Here drop down, and you will see it there. Again, it is called the Together in Transition Workshop. Hello, and welcome in to episode 90 of the Married to Addiction podcast. Today's episode is called When is a Change Necessary? So if you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, you probably already know that my recommendation for whether or not you should make a change in your marriage is to always look to God for the ultimate direction when you decide what to do, because He knows the beginning from the end, right? He knows where your path is supposed to lead. And so that is first and foremost my best advice. But I also want to talk today about some things, while you are also listening for direction, there are also some times that you need to take action before waiting too long for that direction if you don't feel like you're getting it. So there are some things that you should not ignore. Today, I want to talk about 5 of those things that I believe indicate that you need to make a change ASAP. So first and foremost, any physical safety threat whatsoever is a situation where you need to make a change. Like, that is just a line in the sand, and I'm sure you've heard me say that before. If you are in any sort of physical danger, you need to get to safety first and foremost. So that is number 1. Number 2, if you are experiencing any significant or serious physical health issues that are directly related to what's going on in your marriage or your household. So say your blood pressure is through the roof and is to like a dangerous level, and medication isn't really helping to control that, or, that's just one example. There's many examples. But if you are in any sort of danger physically because of a health issue, that is, either being caused by or being aggravated by your situation, that is another time that I feel like you should definitely make a change. The third one is if you are experiencing mental health issues. Now, I'm talking again about things that are significant, that are drastically affecting your life, your job, etc. Of course, being married to an alcoholic is going to be mentally stressful, period, for anyone. But if you feel like you are on the verge of an actual breakdown, a mental break, where you think that it is at a critical level where you are going to be drastically affected, or you already are being drastically affected, your life is, your job is, as I said, that is another time that I think you need to make a change sooner rather than later. The fourth scenario is if your children are showing obvious signs of being very negatively affected. Maybe they're having health issues that are related, or mental health issues, or whatever the case. Now, I want to mention here that this can vary widely in different households. So, of course, our children are almost always going to be affected in some way negatively if their father is an alcoholic and he is in the home. However, children who are seeing a falling down drunk dad on a regular basis, or children whose drunk dad is being verbally abusive. Now, again, physical abuse is that line in the sand. Get out if that is happening to you or your children. But verbal abuse, anything that is significant, that is going to be harmful, that those kids are having a different experience than a child who might live in a household whose dad is an alcoholic, or their dad is an alcoholic, but he only drinks after they're in bed. So they're not witnessing the drastic things that children in the first scenario that I spoke about are. Now, again, sometimes they know more than you think, right? In most instances, kids do know more than you think. So this is still something to pay attention to and to be aware of, for sure, where your kids are concerned. The fifth scenario where I think a change would definitely be necessary is if you are pregnant and the stress of being in a household with an alcoholic husband is so immense that you know that it is bad for you, and in turn, just as bad for your unborn baby. Being pregnant is a very taxing time. You are taxed mentally, physically, emotionally, etc. So I feel like if you are in that situation, you do need to get some help, or at the very least, you need to get some help, or maybe even go stay with another family member for a while, or a friend, or whatever option you may have, so that you can concentrate on having a healthy pregnancy, a good delivery, and a healthy baby. Like, that is so, so important. Now, again, if there is any threat of any sort of physical violence, I can't stress enough, please get help with making these decisions ASAP. Contact an agency that is skilled in this specifically. Those agencies will help you for free, and it is critical that you protect yourself. Now, in some of these cases, you obviously need to just leave. Like I just said, if it's a physical issue, get out. Sometimes you will need to leave temporarily. In the other scenarios, you will need to leave temporarily. Sometimes in the other scenarios, you would still need to leave permanently. It just depends on the situation. And you have to decide how drastic it is affecting you, your kids, your life, etc. But in all of these cases, I want you to know that getting some help for yourself and your kids, if you have them, is a change that you can make now. So maybe you know that you're being super, physically affected, but you can't just pack up and leave tomorrow. Like, there's some logistics that need to be worked out. In the meantime, get some support and some help and some direction for you and your kids. There is a episode that I did on kids and addiction called What About My Kids? I don't have the episode number in front of me, but it should be relatively easy to find. I want to say it was like in the 30s, 40s maybe. That has some attached resources for you to help support your kids. As I said, they do know more than you think they know, and they probably are being affected more than you think they're being affected. So please find some help for them. Because if you are in any of these situations, they probably need help, and you definitely need support and direction. Oftentimes, taking just that step initially, even if you can't work out all the rest of it right away, will still make a big difference because it's going to give you a lot more clarity, which can then help you move forward in the best possible way. So yes, you need to make a change. You can't do it right now, but getting some help for yourself will help you have more clarity where that's concerned. And that is super, super important. Now, of course, I do have the Secret Sister Circle available to you if you do need some help, but please note that it is not meant for anyone in a situation where violence is a possibility, even a small bit. That is not meant for people in those types of situations. So in any of the other situations, there are a number of places where you can get help for you and your kids, as I've mentioned. If you are interested in getting that through the Secret Sister Circle, I would love to help you there. You can find out more information on that through marriedtoaddiction.com. But again, if it is a safety issue, please reach out to agencies that are skilled to help you with that immediately. So I hope that's been helpful for you. There are definitely some times where we can kind of wait and see what God says, but there are definitely some times where we probably shouldn't. That doesn't mean you should not still be looking to God for direction, but there are some times where you just really have to make a change more quickly than that, and figure out the rest once you are in a place that is better for you. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you next time. Hey, one more quick thing before I let you go today. Do you follow Married to Addiction on either Instagram or Facebook, or both? If not, I would love to have you join me over there. It's a great place to stay connected with everything that's happening with Married to Addiction. I post updates about my podcast episodes, of course. I post about my freebies. I post about my programs. I post encouragement in the way of Bible verses and things like that. I also post just like some helpful little teaching nuggets sometimes too. So I really think that you would get a lot of value out of that as the wife of an alcoholic, and I would love to have you join me on either Facebook or Instagram, or both. You can find me at facebook.com/marriedtoaddiction, or just at marriedtoaddiction on Instagram. I hope to see you there.